Huh? What up? What up? Good morning, man. We in the building. You know how we get down, baby. It's the cook up, the cook up, the cook up. You know what I'm saying? So, me and my boy Cody here, man. He wasn't here last week. My brother had a good vacay on the menu, and now you back, man. He brought some recipes for us, man. So let's get up in the kitchen for the good people, man. How you feeling today, Cody? I got your mic muted. Let me unmute you, my brother. My bad. Now we back. We good. We good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling fantastic, brother. I missed it last week. I missed a couple shows last week, and it was for good reason. I was cooking up out in Cali. I had some dumplings, had some sushi, had some steaks. Had to get all around everything. And we was cooking up out there. But a big week of football. I'm glad to be back to talk about it, from the college slate to the NFL slate. I felt like everything from noon on Saturday until about 7 p.m. on Sunday, I was just in my element watching these college games, watching these NFL games. It was good game after good game. I mean, even if you want to lump in that Thursday night game as well into that whole thing, it's a pretty fantastic weekend of football, and I'm glad to be back here on a Tuesday, October 8th, talking with man Fizz.
That's it, man. Dang, you done gave me the date and everything, bro. I swear that I be forgetting the day. I know it's Tuesday, but the actual date on the calendar, bro, don't ask me, man. I have no clue what date it is on the calendar.
Let's be honest. I gotta look up in that right corner to know what.
Okay, yeah, I'm about to say, because I just looked down like, hold on, dang, is that? I don't even know. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm like I said, man, I'm glad you're here, brother. Maddie held it down last week, man. Shout out my boy Maddie. And yeah, man, we had a great weekend of football. A lot of weather, kind of hit us as a whole, like especially in the South and a couple of places. So, shout out to everybody. And I think Florida right now is about to get hit, or they already, going through something. So prayers for them down there, man. And hopefully, it don't do too much damage like these storms seem to do. And that Pittsburgh game I was like, bro, where did this come from? I didn't look at the news, but when I heard a rain delay, I'm thinking, all right, 5, 10, 15 minutes. It went from like 8:30 or 8:15 kickoff to 9:55. I'm like, damn, bro. I was so mad because I'm like, bro, I know I ain't gonna make it through this game. So I don't know how much that really had to do with the play of the game and how it went slow with a bunch of field goals and fumbles. But yeah, man, it was a lot of weather going on this weekend. But I think overall though, Cody, what people haven't really talked about, what I seen was, bro, it was a lot of scores, man. Like if we look at fantasy points, bro, I'm talking about it was people, Tank Bigsby, Trey Sermon, Tucker Crabb, guys that you probably wouldn't start on a weekly basis was taking off this weekend. So Rashad Bateman, I mean, I'm gonna go down the list, man, at some point. But yeah, man, this was finally the week where I could say scoring was important this week, and it kicked off Thursday night, which we could start off with Atlanta and Tampa. Man, they pretty much showed us like it's about to be one of those weeks. So before we get too far in that, man, I'm gonna give the people a shout out though, man. My boy Rock in the building, man. Rock, what up, Playboy? How you feeling, man? My boy Mr. Voorhees, what's up, bro? Theo, my boy Guapaholics, Big Corey, Boosie in the building. All right, man. I like it. I'm a Boosie fan, man. So shout out my boy Boosie in the building, man. Pops, I know you don't want your game, man. All right, shout out the Commanders. Put your right hand, left hand up, bro. Dirty Bird, what up, bro? We gonna get to you in 1 second, Playboy. But yeah, man. Shout out for the people, being here, tapping in with us, man. And let's get it started, man, with Thursday, man. What you thought about that game and the vibe, and pretty much Kirk pulling out the win, man.
I'll be honest with you. This was a game where we're making homemade pasta. I'm in Cali while this game was going on. We're making homemade pasta, and in the midst of making all this food, hadn't been on my computer in a few hours, and I go, "Oh snap! I forgot to set my lineup." And I said it, but I didn't like adjust it right. In this one league, I had to go out and get a kicker because my one kicker was on bye or something, and the kicker that I got was Young Hoku, and I thought I didn't put him in my starting lineup. So I was like tilted off the jump. And then as the game was going on, I was like, man, I know I have Darnell Mooney and Drake London on this one team. I was like, I wonder if I put him in the lineup. I couldn't remember if I did Mooney or not. And of course, they're just sitting here going, boom, 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 targets, right? I think London ended up 12 for 154 and a touchdown. Mooney, 16 targets, like career high, and 16 targets for Darnell Mooney, like doing what we knew he could do. In this one, it was just play after play after play in this Atlanta-Tampa game that was fun to watch. What I ended up doing, Fizz, and this really ended up screwing me, and we'll talk about it when we get to our our section where we review teams, and I dropped a little screenshot in here of this roster. I ended up putting both of these guys in the flex on Thursday night. It was a mistake, right? The vaunted, like the cardinal rule of fantasy. If you got a guy on Thursday night, don't put him in your flex.
Yes,
two
sir.
flex spots,
Damn.
and I put both Mooney and Drake London in the flex.
Damn.
And it ended up, what it ended up doing is it almost screwed me because I have Rashee Rice and Malik Neighbors on that team. And that was generally my two starting receivers.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I'll talk about the rest of that roster when we get to that point. But this game in totality was pretty fantastic to watch. I expect a little more out of Chris Godwin. I think, they're featuring him, but I don't think they're featuring him quite enough. Like Mike Evans is doing the red zone thing. He's dominating the end zone like we know Mike Evans can, but I would just love to see them to continue to push that ball to Chris Godwin even more and more. It was nice to see Rachaad White kind of get going a little bit in this game. We've been looking for that all year, and it finally kind of came out a little bit this week. I'd love to see him double down on that next week. Only 10 carries, split him with Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving, you have to kind of, give flowers where they're deserved, and Bucky Irving definitely earned and deserves his flowers. But I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? Overtime, and Kirko. That, I tell you what, that touchdown to Kadero Hodge reminded me of one single thing. You probably remember this, that Super Bowl between the Cardinals and the Steelers when Larry Fitzgerald that slant
gone. But I think his was like 75 yards, right?
He went way further. But it was as soon as Kadero turned, you're like, oh no,
he gone.
It's done. And that was the first thing that came to my mind was that Larry Fitzgerald touchdown. I mean, that was just. It was crazy. It was funny that they were like, "Oh, the only player to throw for over 500 yards in the Atlanta Falcons jersey was Matt Ryan." And I was like, "Well, Matt Ryan got put into the Ring of Honor tonight, so guess who's breaking that record?"
It was kind of disrespectful for Kirk to do that.
You knew that was going to happen, but I thought it was a fantastic game to get the weekend started, and I would have rather seen Tampa win this one. But I tell you what, Kirko did his job.
Nah, he did. And honestly, to kind of piggyback on your Godwin point, I think just the lack of yards that Baker had is the reason why Godwin didn't have the game that he should have had. Basically, if you didn't score a touchdown on Tampa, your numbers weren't really that big. For you to go out there as a quarterback and throw less than 200, I don't expect your receivers to really do a lot across the board. But Kirk, man, fed everybody. I mean, Ray McLeod had double-digit fantasy points. Kyle Pitts, my boy, my dog, man, had 88 yards on the dot, man. So he won't be in the 88 club anyway, man. So I hit him up, said, hey, man, do what we do, man. So shout out to Pitts, shout out to Drake London and Donnell Mooney, man. He's arrived. He's that Jordan Addison-ish type guy for Kirk from Minnesota. And I expect to see Mooney, man, do what Wandale is doing in his offense, getting 13. Oh, what we got? What we got popping?
Breaking news.
What's up? Must be a trade. It got to be a trade.
No, it's a firing. A head coach has been fired.
Oh, hold up. What we got?
The Jets have fired Robert Saleh, according to Adam Schefter.
Damn.
Oh, he didn't make the trip back. He ain't even back to the land yet. He ain't back to the land
yet. Hey, hold on. They fired that man in London, bro. Hell nah. Damn.
Oh my gosh.
So is he getting fired because he don't want to make this Devontae Adams trade, or they just trash? I don't know.
He's getting fired because Aaron Rodgers said he's getting fired.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he is the coach. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is the coach. We know he said, "Listen,
gosh,
hire him, and then I'll get there." So, damn, man. I don't got a breaking news alert, but hey, breaking news, man. The Jets got it.
That's kind of like dude, that's week 5.
Yeah, I mean, I got to be Aaron Rodgers basically saying, "Look, this ain't working." I don't know. I mean, who's the next intern coach? Because
it's got to be Hackett, right? Hackett's got to get that job. That's Rodgers' boy.
I was just about to say, if that's the case, then we know that Aaron Rodgers behind this, man, because Hackett is.
Look at what their defense has done. They had the bad game in week 1. They gave up 32 to the Niners.
Yep.
They gave up 17 to the Titans, 3 to the Patriots, 10 to the Broncos, and 23 to the Vikings. They turned the ball over. Now, I think the stat was like the scoring through the first 5 games was equal to what it was last year under Zach Wilson. I mean, dude, they got Monday night next week against the Bills, and they just can't.
And the Bills, man, looking to punch somebody in the mouth the way they didn't lost the last couple weeks. So I don't expect the Bills to take it lightly at all next week against the Jets. So damn man, that was. I mean, I expect their solid to get fired. It's not week 5, week 6. Like I thought after the season they was gonna ride it out, and
Yeah.
I already put Salah on the 49ers coaching staff next year. Like I already pretty much put it in my head that he'll be back some way, somehow.
I didn't mean to derail the show, but I mean it was breaking news.
Yeah,
But
nah,
I
for sure.
definitely foresaw him not being part of the team after the year. But I will
Yeah,
say I guess it kind of shows you where the Jets are mentally as a team, as a front office, where like the Browns, right? The Browns are so like feet in the mud right now with Deshaun Watson and with the way this team is currently built in Cleveland, where like the Jets realize like it's now. Like we can't continue to do this. These guys are on two different pages. We can't have the team on two different pages.
yep.
It's either now or this season's gone and Rodgers potentially leaves and retires, whatever. And they're going to this Buffalo game. And the thing is it's early, but it's also proactive in being like, we got to correct this thing now. And if they go lose to the Bills and then they stack it with a Thursday night loss to the Steelers, all of a sudden you're sitting at 2-5 and the schedule, it eases up a little bit as the season ends, but you need to be dialed by that point. Crazy. Period. You're muted.
Damn, of course, right? Like you just said, bro, they play the Bills on Monday night. And listen, I don't see, unless this is a way to try to spark the team, because like you said, it's panic mode, and Rodgers is on the timeline in his career, and if this ain't the year, it never happened. But man, that's tough, bro. It must really be some turmoil in that locker room, but that's the only way I can think of. It got to be something going on in that locker room that nobody is seeing eye to eye, and Salah was just the guy to just say, "Hey, it's on you. Ain't on nobody else." So, see you later.
So last question here for this Jets thing. Is Davante Adams a Jet by the end of the week?
I think he's a Jet by the end of the day or tomorrow. Like, what's today? Tuesday. From what I read, the Raiders said they want him gone in the next 48 hours, so they don't have to pay him a game check or something. So they said that Raiders don't want to pay him no more. They just ready to get it over with. So I read yesterday they on a 48-hour timeline with Davante Adams. So the best offer win, I guess, tonight. I don't know. Highest offer, man. If I really want him and I see what the Jets did, I might hire my hey man, what the Jets offering. All right, here, take this instead. Because I think it's a lock, man, for me. If they're gonna trust Rodgers to be the guy and they moving on from the coach who might be against this Adams thing,
probably
you got to go all out. You going all out, bro. I'm getting Adams. I'm getting Antonio Brown. I don't care who it is. I'm bringing everybody back. So if I'm the Jets, I'm pressing the button right now as we speak. So I know we're gonna move on, but I saw a couple people ask about Breece and Garrett, man. What you think of their value is? Would that change anything? I mean, I know Salah's a defensive guy, so
Garrett, if this Adams thing happens, Garrett's dynasty value has to plummet for two reasons. One, the eternity of Rodgers being a Jet is going to turn into an Adams-centric offense. You've already seen how important Lazard is to him, his utilization of Conklin, Mike Williams to a minimal extent at the current pace. Obviously, Garrett Wilson's coming off a 22-target game, but who do you think those 22 targets are going to go to next week if Davante's right? Like if he's traded for today, Adams is getting 22 targets on Sunday. Like that's just how the math works with these
100%. 100%.
Now,
so
Wilson's I would assume, like, again, when you look at the target distribution like this from this last game, it was Garrett Wilson, Conklin, Lazard, Mike Williams got 4, and then the running backs. So it's pretty dialed. And I don't know what happens if Wilson's in a sticky spot. In my head, it would make sense to potentially trade Wilson to the Raiders, get Adams plus, right? Switch that's what. But again, you can't. I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, that'd be tough, bro. I'm not gonna lie. You trying to break some real news for real, man.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like Jets fans would hate that, but also Jets fans would be like, well, we get Devontae Adams and like we're trying to win a Super Bowl now.
Yeah.
The Raiders, from that perspective, trying to build a team, who wouldn't want the younger guy, right? So, but the thing is then on the opposite side, the Raiders are going to be having to be the ones that have to give something up, which, helps. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't think that these two pieces, Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams, can coexist like people kind of visualize. The connection's not, I wouldn't, it's going to sound cocky maybe to say like after a 22 target game, but he caught 13 of them. He didn't catch 18 of them like Adams would. The connection's there, but it's not near what it is for Devontae Adams. Like we've heard the conversations and the things that have been said from Rodgers, from Wilson about trying to build this connection, build this connection. It's only going to nuke it. I would assume if Adams is traded there. I don't know. It's such a large conversation that even can have another time when
for sure. But honestly though, bro, I think even with that connection thing that you're talking about, I think it was forced, man. If you look at that, the end of that game, I think there was 22 targets. It was more so just, all right, man, we just need to win this game. Let me get him the ball. Because that whole first half, it was Lazard. It was everybody but Garrett, really. So I know the number looks good, but if you looked at that game, I honestly believe that that production and reception total was forced from Rodgers to Garrett. I don't even think it's really a connection. I see you bring this up. You got a little grin, man. What you thinking? What you thinking, man? You think Belichick could try to stick it to the Patriots, bro?
I'm not saying anything.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna leave it there then. We ain't gonna bother it then. We're gonna leave it alone. We ain't gonna touch on that, man. The Jets are landed until they leave London and hit the air, man. We're gonna leave them boys over there, man. So yeah, man, that kind of hit us for a spin, bro. We wasn't ready for that news, brother. So any more breaking news, man, before we move on?
I guess not. I mean, maybe in 10 minutes we'll get this Adams trade come through.
Yeah. For sure. We're gonna have to shut the stream down with that one. All right, man. So me, I guess outside of the Bucks game, bro, we pretty much learned that I guess Kirk Cousins, to me, he kind of solidified that Penix won't be starting anytime soon. I really thought it was time to kind of start bringing those conversations up, but after a game like that, and me knowing Raheem Morris is a defensive guy, and we already talked about that whole thing a couple weeks ago. I think when I watched Kirk go down, it was like 8 seconds left before halftime, and he hiked the ball and he threw the pass to Drake London. He ran up and spiked it. When I seen Raheem hit him on the helmet and talk to him, I said, this is what the coach want. He want the leadership, the veteranship, this my guy. I don't have to worry about rookie mistakes kind of vibe. And those defensive coaches, we know, love those. So me personally, I really think Kirk got his job for a little longer, man, than what we anticipated. So
that was a real moment, wasn't it? When you could see like there was a real, you would never see that between, we were just talking about Rodgers and Saleh. You would never see that between Rodgers and Saleh.
Facts.
What you just saw with Raheem. Raheem was, I mean, he was like,
he was locked in on,
everything was locked.
Yeah.
In that connection. That was, he's like, that's exactly why we brought you here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like we say, bro, those defensive coaches, man, they don't have time for tricks and the magic. They just want to get the win, no matter how they get it. And Kirk got them that win. Throwing the ball 50-something times ain't even their strategy anyway. They really are a balanced team, and they barely ran the ball. So for them to trust Kirk to throw the ball 50+ times and they won the game, Kirk got his job, man, for a little while longer. So we got a couple of games here, man. I really wanted to kind of run through one game. We just talk about one side because this is the only side to talk about, and that's the Bears and the Panthers, man. I wanted to give Caleb a little bit of love, bro. Yeah. Oh, you know what? No, I'm sorry. Let me retract from that. We had the morning game in London. Let's start with that one because that was an early game. We just talked about the Jet side, kind of in the source. But what you think about your Vikings, man? It was a rough game, kind of for them, but I said it was a trap game for them, bro. If they was to ever lose a game, going to London and playing a team like the Jets, who was scratching and itching for a win, this would be the game that they could possibly lose. So Sam Darnold didn't have the best game. Nobody on that side really had a great game, but the defense was really locked in on them Jets early and even late. So what you think about your Vikings, man?
That's the interesting thing is that, like, the Jets defense is good. Period. Like that's what Salah's known for, is that defense. The Jets defense is good.
Definitely.
The problem is there's a lot of coaches out there that are very good at being defensive coordinators and not good at being head coaches. And my favorite show to listen to every single week is Michael Lombardi, the GM Shuffle. And he talks about what coaches should act like, what coaches should do, what coaches shouldn't do, what coaches should, how to act, things of this nature, right? You should go listen to it. If you haven't ever listened to Lombardi, go listen to the GM Shuffle. He talks about it every single week. He'll have a great show on Thursday, I guarantee it, with old Bobby Saleh getting fired. But the point is that Saleh's really good as a defensive coordinator. We knew that in San Francisco. As a head coach, it hasn't quite worked.
Yep.
But back to this game here. The Vikings' top two rushers had 21 carries and 59 yards. Throughout this entire game, they could not establish it for the shit of themselves. Like Chandler looked mediocre. Jones got hurt. He looked mediocre. The passing game, outside of, honestly, I think it was like, I don't even remember what I counted, 5 or 6 balls of 20 plus yards downfield that ended up being pass interferences to Justin Jefferson's.
I mean, his stat line doesn't show at all what he could have did, because he was passing.
I don't know if air yards are accounted for.
Yeah, that's a good question.
On those, I'm going to pull it up right now. I don't even know if air yards are accounted for on those penalties or not. They should be.
They should.
Because, I mean, if they are, his air yards had to be. Here it is, air yards. See if Fantasy Life has it yet. They don't. Oh, here it is. Pop it up. Give me week 5. You got week 5 in here yet? 24 season.
It was.
They have it by season. Jefferson has 623 air yards, which is, gosh, is that second in the league? It's first in the league. Number 1 overall in the league, Justin Jefferson in air yards. I cannot see the week by week breakdown. This is great radio.
Well, I was about to say, remember he had that long 97-yard pass, catching pass from Sam Darnold against the 49ers too. But Sam threw that ball like it wasn't a 10-yard catch, and he went all the way. So I'm sure that was added on to it.
I don't. I mean, usually Tuesdays when all the data gets dumped for most of these sites, but all I know is Jefferson leads the league in air yards right now. I can't tell you exactly what the air yard total is from week 5.
Game. Yeah.
But it did seem like, that was like, here you go. 218 air yards. Found it. 218 air yards in this game.
Yeah.
On 14 targets, which is maniacal. That is nuts. And again, a lot of it ended up being holding, pass interference, DJ Reed, soft spot, play after play. That was like their offense. That was their offense. Like Darnold showed, it's interesting. That, sorry, I'm like going off on a couple different angles here, but like you said, like the Vikings are the team that I tracked the most in my life. Our family's had season tickets for 53 years with them. Like it's different, but the Minnesota media, this is something I saw yesterday. The Minnesota media, there's this guy, he put out they were on a podcast and he goes, if JJ McCarthy was healthy right now, he said Kevin O'Connell would make the switch from Sam Darnold to JJ McCarthy during this bye week. Being 5-0, he would do it. Which is, again, the definition of Minnesota media, right?
Yeah, like why though?
You're arguably the best team in football because of this defense and because Sam Darnold's playing at this level this year. And he has one hiccup, and they still win the game. He started out 17-0, good game. He didn't play great. And all of a sudden it's like, well, if JJ was healthy, they would switch it because JJ has the it factor and he has these intangibles and he can run and he could.
Yeah, that's like crazy, bro.
Isn't that wild?
I don't even know if JJ's job is safe after this year, let alone come in and, I mean, if Sam Darnold take you guys to the NFC Championship, how do you just let him walk out the door, bro? I mean, it's going to be a real discussion.
The only way you let him walk out the door is if you franchise tag him and you get something for it.
Facts.
Otherwise, like you have to give him 2 years, 80, 2 years, 90 million.
You have to. You got to. JJ just got to wait. Got to wait his turn.
Which is not a bad thing. I've went on record and said it when he got hurt. and this is nothing against somebody getting hurt. I never want to see somebody get hurt, but it's the best thing that could have possibly happened. Because
Need to sit down.
as much as he, I think, would be competent quarterback, as much as he would be, he was never going to start week 1. He just wasn't. If you track the team in the preseason, he was never going to start week 1. It just wasn't the way it was. Thor Nystrom loved him. Shout out to Thor Nystrom.
I know that's his boy.
Week 1. And the best thing possible for these quarterbacks, as everybody knows over the last 2 decades, is to sit as long as they possibly can.
Yeah.
And if he can go from the thought of him playing in year 1 to maybe he's in a Patrick Mahomes role where he can play at the end of the year for a game and then next year it's his team, to maybe he's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo or Jordan Love, to him potentially sitting for 2 or 3 years. Like, it only gets better. You know, the situation is situational, but I think it's just cockamamie to even consider this. I know, Sam Darnold had a bad game against a good defense.
Yeah. And it was, like I said, it was in London, bro. It's not like he was around the corner and, you know what I'm saying? Like, they had to travel, man. That's why I say I felt like this was a trap game. If Minnesota was going to lose a game to a team that they should beat, this would be the game. I mean, you in London, bro. I mean, anything can happen at this time, So, I mean, yeah, man, I'm with you, man. I feel like Sam Darnold he didn't lose his job. He's not losing his job, and he's pretty much the QB1 of this team, and looking like close to being QB1 in that division at some point. We know, no disrespect to my boy Jordan Love, he's really that dude, but Sam Darnold, man, letting him know I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So, I guess we want to move on from that. We just touch up on the Bears, man, because I really want to give Caleb some love, man. Caleb did his thing, and he played the barbecue sauce Panthers, man, and he made some Panther nuggets, bro. So what you think about Caleb, man, and his breakout game in a sense? This looked like the game where if he couldn't do it against this team, he was gonna have a rough season. And this was that little nugget in the schedule where he like, all right, man, I ain't played my best so far, but this the game right here. I gotta let the people know I'm in this league. So what you thought about Caleb and his performance?
Caleb had the number 1 QBR in the week. Number 1 QBR in the week across the league, 83.9. On the season so far, it's the 18th best game through 5 weeks of the season. Of course, Jaden Daniels has 2 games over 90 QBR, but that's okay. Yeah. Caleb Williams still good. Caleb Williams, I mean, he did the thing. We've been kind of, it's looked like a slow build, a slow growth, I guess you'd say, for Caleb. And the first week was horrendous, right? It was tough to watch against Tennessee Titans, where he didn't come out great, through 48% of completions, sacked a few times. That next week he was sacked 7 times. They got beat by Houston. I was like, oh boy. People were starting to question, oh boy, and watching that, and in comparison to watching Jaden. And then that game against the Colts, it got better, threw the ball a ton, threw for 360 yards, something that not everybody can do is throw for 300 yards in a game. He threw for 360. Made it competitive. Then he stacked it again with a win against the Rams. And then this was the one that kind of like was like over the edge. Okay, he's here. He's truthful. This is what he is. He's been dispersing the ball across the field for the last couple of weeks. This game, DJ Moore has his revenge game. 105-2. I know Maddie's jacked about that. Cole Kmet got targets. Dunze got targets. Keenan Allen got targets. And then Swift.
I was about to say Swift, man. Oh, hey, is he here? Has he arrived?
He doubled down. He last week they were like, we're gonna see what Roshan can do, and then all of a sudden Swift is like, yo, we're not gonna see what Roshan can do. We're gonna see what Swift can do for you.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think Swift knows his career is in balance. It sounds weird to say that because he just got a big contract, but he knows. I mean, you can see with Miles Sanders, right? Miles Sanders got paid, and all of a sudden his shit is balanced too, and his career is basically, it's not over, but it's like he ain't him. And Swift was a fucking game away from that being him. Like if Roshan would have went out there last week, went 12 for 100 and a couple of touchdowns, they would have buried Swift in the Chicago media.
Oh no, for sure.
And Swift was able to bounce back, did it again this week. Chicago looks all right. Like I'm not sure what that looks like going forward, what that looks like kind of for their projection. They have a game against the Jags this weekend. They're going to be the ones over in, I think it's London. I don't think it's Germany. I think it's London again this week. And then they got a bye. So very winnable game against the Jaguars. Washington out the bye, quarterback head to head. Then they got Kyler Murray, New England. Like they got a stretch here of winnable games. These next 4, and if they can come out 6-3, 7-2, I know winning 4 games, Jacksonville, Washington, Arizona, New England. Winning 4 games period in the NFL is tough, but those
Definitely.
are 4 winnable games
For sure.
if Caleb
For
is
sure.
how Caleb plays. So this team's definitely going in the opposite direction that the Panthers are, and definitely going in the opposite direction that the Saints are.
Yeah, and I mean they kind of have to, right? You look at this division, bro. Everybody in this division is over 500. Minnesota is undefeated. The Packers look only defeated because Jordan Love wasn't there technically, and he got hurt in Germany and all this crazy stuff they had going on week 1. But the Packers can probably beat anybody on the schedule any week. Minnesota look like they can. Detroit is definitely one of those teams that you're going to fear, and they play the Cowboys, who's banged up on both sides of the ball this week. So, yeah, man, it's a tough division, man. So the Bears, they really don't have a choice but to win a lot of these games they got coming up. And I think Caleb's growth is really slow because it is the offensive calling and the play calling. I say this all the time. If Caleb had Cliff there, Caleb might be what Jaden Daniels is right now. I mean, I don't see why he can't be with that offense, with those weapons. He might even be better than Jaden. Jaden doing it with, 2 Band-Aids and, a gauze pack, on offense. So Brian Robinson is doing his thing, Terry doing his thing, but they don't have DJ Moore, Rome, Keenan, the Swift and Roshan Pack, the Komets. I mean, Caleb with Cliff and that offense would probably be the QB1 right now in Dynasty as far as we looking at Jayden. So I think it's just the slower growth with the offense as a whole because of the play calling and the coaching. I don't think it has nothing to do with his skill level. But I'm glad he stopped talking in the media so much because some of that was like, all right, bro, you ain't doing nothing yet, man. Like, let's just slow down a little bit, man. So I'm glad to see, yesterday he got his flowers and hopefully they keep growing, man. So, I know that Jets thing, man, kind of took us in a whole, frenzy. I'm trying to get back, man. I'm looking at some of these games. Shout out to Commanders, but we ain't gonna talk about y'all beating up on the Browns, bro. You want to speak about Deshaun Watson, or are we good, man?
I mean, bro, like, how about this? How about we leave this Browns Washington game with one thing? Put Jameis Winston in the fucking game.
I mean, they changed his contract. If I know these had his lawsuit just clear, and they changed the language in it or something. So I guess are they gonna try to find a way out? Like, hey, this new thing popped up. Like, are they gonna find him in Diddy's documents? Or was he at Diddy house, man? He might end up.
Would you? This is, I should not say this.
Okay, don't. Hey, I'm gonna leave it up to you if you're gonna say it.
I was gonna say, would you pay somebody to put somebody on something?
But that's all I'm about to say, bro. Bro, is the team going to put him in Diddy's papers, man? Hey, I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying. They might void his contract with. He had 28 of those baby oil bottles. I don't know, bro.
I would never wish cast that on anybody, but that is a maniacal thought that I would not put past an NFL franchise.
Listen, that was my only take on it, man. I think they're going to try to find a way to get out of that contract because they changed the language not too long ago in it. So I don't know, man.
But I don't.
Yeah. So I mean, shout out, like I said, Commanders. They did their thing. Y'all beat up on those bums. So we going
the only team in the NFL not to score 20 points yet this year.
Well, they got.
Maybe we see a Jameis Winston, Nick Chubb backfield here in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Sad days in Cleveland, man. So, I guess, man, we can go on to this Jacksonville and Colts, man. On both sides of the field, it was definitely maybe the second highest game, I believe, behind the Ravens. Yeah, second highest game of the week. And Colts 34, Jaguars 37. And after a 0-4 start in Jacksonville, I really thought maybe the Colts gonna beat them this game. And they actually could have, to be honest. They probably shouldn't have if you look at them having a 30-something-year-old, the oldest quarterback, second oldest quarterback in the league, and no JT starting at running back. I really thought the Jaguars still could have lost this game. And Joe Flacco went out there, man, and threaded the needle like he's been doing his whole career, it seemed like. So, yeah, man, Brian Thomas Jr., one thing we know about him, hey, listen, I don't know if you can buy him now, but if you can, go get him. You know what I'm saying? Like, BTJ is really that dude, man. On the offensive side of the Jacksonville Jaguars, I mean, Tank Bigsby is looking like RB1. I don't know, man. It's it's a lot going on in Jacksonville, but the guys that we thought coming into the season, Christian Kirk, maybe Gabe Davis, Evan Ingram not playing. We talking about BTJ and Tank Bigsby right now, bro. So on the Jacksonville side, man, what you think they got going on, man? It's not necessarily as a team as a whole, because they literally not a good team, 1-4, but just on the skill level side of things. What you think about what they got going on?
I think I was most impressed that they gave up no sacks in this game. This offensive line sucks.
I didn't even know that.
They gave up no sacks. Again, the Colts have generally been good at getting after the quarterback. They didn't really get after him much in this game at all. Brian Thomas, when I went down for that training camp, definitely looked like he could do things like this. I wasn't sure about the consistency of it or if he would be the alpha to get the targets. Like 8 targets is, again, impressive for Brian Thomas Jr. I still am a little hesitant on him as a player, the prospect. If this is his defined role, like it is what it is, right? 85 of his 122 yards came on one play. Like, there's always going to be a little overreaction to that.
For
the
sure.
same thing with Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce now has 2 games where he went 3 for 3 with north of 100 and a touchdown. Like, it's just the art of the player. As far as Brian Thomas even being mentioned in the names of the top 10 guys in the league, that would be false. But I still think he's a really good wide receiver, really good talent. If he can ever get his routes dialed in to even a mild extent, I think he'll be fantastic. He's already really good, but fantastic. The running back room, the only player in the NFL to score more than 20 fantasy points this week in PPR. DeAndre Swift scored exactly 20 PPR points at running back.
Okay.
The only running back in the NFL to score more than 20 fantasy points this week was Tank Bigsby, 25.9.
Dang, we had a lot of people that was close to it. I mean, even Trey Sermon, I think, had like 18, 19, I believe, but not 20, right?
Yep. And the crazy thing is if you were to not watch a single game this weekend, and we sat down and we're just box score watching, and you just open up the Jaguars receiving off the rip, and you go, hey, Fizz, Travis Etienne, second on the team in targets. He had 7 targets, 6 receptions. Where's he finishes running back this week in fantasy points? You're probably like, shit, 7 targets, 6 receptions. He's probably top 6, top 7.
No, definitely.
Nothing.
Yeah, bro. I mean, are they trying to like trade him or box kind of X him out the offense?
I don't know what they were asked about it post game. I think they asked, was it Doug? I think they asked Doug, and he was like, Travis is our running back. And I was like, but is he?
Don't look like it. Yeah,
but
like you sure?
When you're in a game like this, and it's back and forth, and you give this other dude 13 carries and this dude 6, and that dude with 13 is averaging 8 a clip, and the other dude's averaging 3. Yeah. Who's your running back?
It's trouble in Jacksonville.
Who's the like in New York right now, right? Braylon Allen. There's people out there saying Braylon Allen's better than Breece Hall, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
But through the first 5 weeks of the season, who looks better?
Yeah. Nah, I'm with you.
But again, I'm never going to say that. I'm never going to say Braylon's better than Breece. Sure. Braylon's a very good.
But it's easy to say in Jacksonville, though.
Pre-combine, but Breece is Breece. In Jacksonville, Etienne is Etienne. Tank is just a maniacal run. Like the problem is the dude can't hold on to the football. I don't know if he's got 7-inch hands or what, but he can't hold on to the football. He runs so blasted hard. Yeah. And he's been doing this since he was at Auburn. He runs so blasted hard that it's almost uncontrollable. And I love it. I love every bit of it. Alex Dunlap from Roster Watch, he hates it. We talk about Bigsby all the time. He hates him because he fumbles all the time and he just runs so erratic and loose. But it works. It works sometimes. Even the one where did he score? And like as soon as he got hit, once he got into the end zone, he fumbled, but it wasn't a fumble because he'd already scored. But it's like even when he does good things, he still does bad things. It's crazy. But I think Etienne's fine. He'll find his curve. He'll come around. I don't think Etienne's toasty. I don't think he's done. He's shown a little bit of electricity out of the backfield as a receiver. I don't think he's done by any means, though. I think it'll catch up. I think they're happy to probably have Bigsby do what he's doing, but I'm not really worried about Etienne per se overall in his overall stock. This week they play, what did I say, the Bears overseas. So
yeah, that's gonna be a tough game.
Situation for him to do something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just trying
but
to
the
talk
only
my
thing, nah, but the only thing I will say is he is in a contract year. Like right. I think they already paid Trevor, so I think Bixby is either this year or next year for sure. He's because they got drafted at the same time, so him and Trevor was in the same class. First round pick. So you got to think like, are they really going to pay him? And what's his value? What they, what's his price? It's easy to say we can go off to DeAndre Swift and the most recent contracts, but I mean, maybe Jacksonville trying to say, "Hey, man, Tank is our guy, and ETN we might be moving on from." So
The
I don't
problem
know,
is,
man.
I don't know. The problem is with ETN is that they already picked up his 2025 club option,
Oh,
so he's on
okay,
the
all
roster
right,
next year for $6 million.
okay. I
But
mean, six million running back. I guess that's not bad, but it's like, are you gonna keep him after that? I don't know.
yeah, I mean, the year after that he's going to be 27.
Yeah, yeah, and that
So
sounds like the time where it's time to move on, right? They might draft another one and just rotate the position. So that was a good grab, though, bro. I just went and looked, man. You're right. Tank and Swift, the only one is at 20 points, bro. So that was a solid stat right there, man. Man, we had so many big games, bro. I know we can't touch on all, but I think this Ravens and Bengals game, bro, I think is like there's no way we can not speak on this game right here, man. The highest scoring game of the week and probably the most entertaining of the week when you look at the back and forth and all the drama that came with it. What you think about the Ravens side? And I'll give you the Bengals side. I'll touch on the Ravens side. What you think about the Bengals, man, and them losing this game, knowing that they needed to win, and Joe Burrow going off? Like he threw like 4 touchdowns, I believe, or 5 touchdowns. Um, T. Higgins had 2 touchdowns, scored. I mean, I'm giving you that side. I'm breaking all the stats. So go ahead, let you touch on it, man, and give me your spill on the Bengals in this game.
foremost, what we've seen from Joe Burrow as he's been stacking weeks. Talk about stacking weeks. Burrow, he's yeah. See, I told you we got to talk about them Commanders, man.
Yeah. left
Burrow
hand up.
is
All right.
Burrow is QB4 right now in fantasy points on the season, and statistically, week by week, he's looked better and better. I know everyone wanted to write him off in week 1 and be like, "Oh, this team's in trouble." And what has he done? 0-0 in week 1. No touchdowns, no picks. Sacked 3 times. 2 touchdowns, no picks. They lost by a point to Kansas City. 3 touchdowns, no picks. They lose by 5. 38-33 high-scoring loss to the Commanders. 34-24 win against the Panthers, whatever. And then a 41-38 loss to the Baltimore Ravens. 5 touchdowns, 1 pick, sacked 3 times. So what's the consistent thing here? When they lose, he gets sacked. And when they lose, it's close, and they're giving up a shit ton of points.
Yep.
So the defense, to me, this defense is what's holding back this team.
Yeah, they definitely putting up points. That's for sure.
The last 3 weeks. And then the last drive of the game, when they missed the field goal. And we had this game. I took the Bengals this week in the Circa Millions, and the number was 2.5. They had to cover 2.5, so they're 2.5-point dogs. And they were going to win this game outright. And instead of, again, Joe Burrow, 30 for 39, almost 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, over 140 quarterback rating on the day for the majority of it. Unstoppable. Chase catches 10 out of 12 targets. T. Higgins 9 out of 14. One of the best duos in the league. And what do you resort to in that last drive? Run with guys that are averaging 3 yards per carry.
Yeah, bro.
And miss a long field goal.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen, how many times have we seen Jamar Chase take an out route of, a 3-yard out to the house?
60 yards, 70 yards. Yep.
How many times? How many times we got to do that for you to be like, well,
I think he did it twice in this game, if I ain't mistaken. I think he took like 2 to the house. Both his touchdowns was like short catch, pew.
I think
T. Higgins called. I think I heard something about T. Higgins calling that last drive out. He called the coaches out about it or something. I don't
know how you don't. I don't know. You don't have to be aggressive, but how are you not competent about that? How do you put the ball in Chase Brown's belly and be like, "Yep, man, we're good kicking the field goal here"? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. That you would, have McPherson kick a 53-yarder. It's not a 33-yarder. It's a 53-yarder. You're not trying to, pick up 10 more yards. You're controlling the clock. What was on the clock when that happened? 4:31 when they missed that field goal, right? It's not like you're gonna milk this clock down to 2 minutes, and or a minute, you're gonna milk this clock down to a minute. So if he misses, there's a potential of a tie. No, there's 4 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah.
Show a little bit of aggression. That was my biggest takeaway from this game, is just the irresponsibility of clock management, of style of play, where you were aggressive all game. This game is 38-38. This game's not fucking 10-10. It's 38-38, right? And you're going to run the ball, and take the ball out of your, borderline all-pro Super Bowl contending quarterback, Joe Burrow. Take it out of his hands. Take it out of your millions and millions of dollars receivers.
Yeah.
I don't know. It don't make sense to me. And then, of course, your side, Baltimore, the big dog gets his carry.
Oh, yeah. Nah, but see, my thing is, like you just said, man, for you to take your foot off the gas, bro, when we playing a division game like this, and we playing a team that we can't stand in the locker room, on the field, off the field, I'm pressing that button the whole game. I'm not taking nothing light. We're not going to slow down this offense. We're going to keep putting pressure. If we lose by being aggressive, oh, well, I'm okay with that. But to go in that locker room and lose, like how you just said, they run the ball, kick a field goal, we're not going to be conservative when we playing our division rival. And we want to let them know, like, hey, when y'all play us again, because this is only game one, we still got to play out in Baltimore next time. And yeah, I want you to really understand, like, it's not going to be easy, because it wasn't easy this time. So for them to go out like that, man, I don't understand these coaches, man. It's like they get scary, man. And I know if they probably weren't 1-3, they wouldn't have done it. They might have been more aggressive, but man, forget all that, man. We playing ball, or we just, I'm okay with losing if you're going to really lose how you should. I mean, be aggressive, man. Be your style. Stop letting other people change your game. And I feel like Baltimore, to kind of segue into them, the Bengals made the Baltimore Ravens do what they can do, which is throw the ball. I mean, you look at Lamar, he attempted 42 passes. That might be more than he's done with 2 games combined. I know in the Dallas game, he threw like 15 or 16 times, and against the Bengals, the Bills last week, he barely threw the ball because they was running with Henry. So for Lamar to have his best game by far in the season, attempts wise, yards wise, touchdown passes, Henry still had almost 100 yards rushing. So I like when teams like the Bengals play the Ravens and make that Ravens side wake up and say, listen, we know you can win the game by running Henry in the ground and running Lamar. But you can also throw the ball too, bro. I mean, Lamar is okay with throwing the ball and getting his guys in the game. Zay Flower was 100 yards. Charlie Kolar I thought he had 2 receiving touchdowns, or maybe I'm tripping. I thought he had 2 of them, but likely had 2. Rashad Bateman. I mean, these are names, bro, that we probably won't see ever again, that got endless targets and catches in this game. Tylen Wallace, Mark Andrews finally even caught 4 passes in the game, right? So when you look at what Baltimore did, I believe the only reason why that happened was because the Bengals made them step their game up. And we can't win this game by just running King Henry this whole game and trying to kick field goals. We gonna go out here and really do what the Bengals should have done, which is be aggressive. And I mean, the Bengals were aggressive. They just kind of got scared at the end. But I love what Baltimore did. I just wish on bigger games they really keep this going, and running the ball with Henry 35 times and winning by 3 points isn't the formula, bro. Lamar can clearly be a quarterback when you want him to. And they play them Commanders this week, man. Hey, J-Day ain't gonna go out there playing with them peoples, man. So I really want to see this. I know the hype is real on this game coming up next week, and I really want to see a quarterback game, not a running back quarterback game. And this week right here, though, really reminded me of why I always say Lamar is QB1 in my eyes, bro. So I love everything that Baltimore did in this game.
They proved that they could do it, and they've pushed the ball around. They've found these different weapons. This is the first time Rashad Bateman scored more than 10 fantasy points in 2 calendar years. And I think it was like September 18th of 2022. It's been almost over 2 years since Batesman's done any Bateman has done.
Yeah. Look, he don't even get the ball enough. You can't even remember how to say his name, bro. I feel you.
Get name right. Andrew did something likely catches a couple balls. It is. Ravens are going to be tough. Ravens are going to be a tough out at any stage of the game, especially with Derrick Henry leading the league in rushing. I was on record week 2 saying if they don't figure this thing out this week in Dallas, this team's in trouble. And guess what? They found it out and they figured it out. And Derrick Henry's gotten his opportunities. He's bursted through the whole 3 consecutive games with long runs. And this team's found an identity. And they showed you in this game that even if this game ends up being a shootout, even if their defense doesn't show up for a game, that remember me, Lamar Jackson, remember me with the 158.3 passer rating. He didn't have that this week, but he's done it multiple times in his career. Remember me with the 4 or 5 passing touchdowns? Yes, you remember me with the 300 yards passing. Not only can I run and am I the greatest rusher of my generation, but also I can throw that football as well. And I know Jaden Daniels getting a lot of the credit right now because he wants to be a quarterback first, and he's also a very talented rusher. But people always – and I'm by no means saying that Lamar Jackson is comparable to Joe Burrow or comparable to any of these guys from a passing perspective, but Jackson can sling the football, period.
100%. 100%, bro. And to me, honestly, I think they're the most dangerous team in the AFC because they can turn that knob up anytime they want to. And I'm glad they did it against the Bengals this week because that's the division game. That's the team you probably might have to fight for to get to the playoffs, and just shut them up, man. Smack them in the face. That's what you're supposed to do in your division, bro. So I love what the Ravens did this week. I guess we could touch on. I'm gonna give one more game because a lot of these games were just all over the place. But we got to give the Cardinals a little bit of love, man, for that 49ers game. And Brock Purdy looking like I'm not gonna say Mr. Irrelevant, but Brock Purdy don't look like Brock Purdy. You know what I'm saying? The people's champ who they talked about last year. So Ayuk finally arrived. He did his thing. George Kittle did his thing. I mean, the offense was clicking, but those trap games, man, those division games are always the toughest games to pull out, bro. And I feel like Kyler Murray and them did exactly what they were supposed to do. And I'm looking right now, and Kyler had less than 200 yards passing. James Conner had less than 100 yards rushing. Michael Wilson was the team leading receiver on the team. And you would look at that stat line and say under 200, under 100 yards rushing. Michael Wilson is the leading receiver. I mean, they probably lost this game by 10. And for them to go out there and win the game and play smart, I love is what they did because they needed this game. They needed this win to go 1-3, and it's the 1-4 in this division. Man, is pretty much you X'd out at that point. So I know I talked about a little bit on both sides of the team, on both sides of the field. But what's your take on this game, man, and how they played it out on each side?
Well, I think Kyler was the big takeaway here. Kyler Definitely. With that 50-yard rushing touchdown.
The one where he pointed up to the air, he was like 40 yards out, right? He knew, like, I'm the house call, pick up the phone.
We saw this. We saw little bits of Kyler last year. He wasn't 100% at the time, but you could tell he was getting there. And I thought in the back of my mind that there was a chance that we would get like a career best of Kyler this year and what we could get on a weekly basis. And his rushing to this point this year, I'll read out the lines. Outside of that last week game against Washington where they just got completely smacked and his rushing was completely taken away, which could be, looked at in a couple different views. Outside of that game, 557 with a long of 29, 5 for 59, a long of 26, 5 for 45, a long of 21, 7 for 83, a long of 50. He's completely back. He's 100% back. His passing games, 67%, 81%, 62%, 72%, 63%. Yeah, he's riding the roller coaster, but he's giving you big games.
Yeah.
Kyler looks good. And
you got to give Marv a little bit more love, though. But he looked good. Good.
He's got to find Marv a little bit more. But
definitely,
they won the game. He got the ball. I mean, Michael Wilson looks fantastic.
Yes, definitely.
This division is very much up in the air. Seattle's 3-2, got beat by the Giants. We talk about that in a minute. San Francisco, you talked about a minute ago. Brock Purdy does not look like Brock Purdy that we've come to know. They've lost now to the Rams in division, the Cardinals in division.
Yeah,
they have the Seahawks this week in division.
Yeah, division game. Damn.
I'll be interested to see. That's in Seattle on Thursday.
Thursday night. Yep.
So that, I mean, of all situations, like
must win.
That's going to be a wild spot to be in for San Francisco if they start the season out 0-3 in division against Eaton and one loss to each team.
And I don't know if you know this, Cody. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they play the Chiefs and then Dallas right after that.
Yep.
So they got to win the Seattle game, bro. There's no way that they can lose this game at all.
The back half of the schedule doesn't exactly open up either.
Yeah, man.
It's not like, hey, there's an opportunity here. It's like, no, where's the one opportunity in this schedule? Well, Tampa, top of their division. Seattle beat you already. Green Bay going to be competing. Buffalo, Chicago's going to be competing. The Rams already beat you. That's a nice game. Miami Dolphins. Oh, Tua is going to be back by Christmas. Detroit, and then there's no opening.
No. No, man. I said the same thing about the Cowboys schedule, bro. I think the teams that won last year, man, they really punished those teams, bro, because like the Commanders, look at their schedule. They look like they can win a lot of those games with how they set it up. But when you look at the 49ers, bro, it's no gap to say, okay, if we lose these two, we can win these three. Like every week you're going to be tested, man, with this schedule. And then not have CMC and, you're getting banged up every other week, man. I don't know, man. Ain't looking good in San Fran right now, bro.
I kind of like where the Cardinals are sitting.
Yeah. I mean, I like Seattle. If Seattle would have won this game against the Giants, bro, they could be
4-1.
Most dangerous teams in this division, man. I mean, to lose that game was like, come on, bro. No neighbors, bro. God.
There's this weird Chris Long brought this thing up. I heard this on his pod the other day. This weird thing about the Lions. And when you play the Lions, that next game you get beat. So the Lions in week 1, this will take me a minute to explain here, but Lions in week 1 beat the Rams, right? The Rams in week 2 got blitzed. They lost by 30 against the Cardinals. Tampa Bay in week 2 played the Lions. They beat the Lions 20-16. The next week they got blitzed. They lost by 20 to the Broncos. The Cardinals in week 3 lost to the Lions by 7, got blitzed by Washington the next week. Seattle beat the Lions by 10, got beat by the goddamn Giants the next week. If you play the Lions, so far through 4 weeks, again, the trend has been if you play the Lions the next week, you get donkeyed.
So are you? I don't mean to cut you off, Cody, but you're not making me feel good because Dallas plays the Lions this week, and then we play the 49ers the week after.
And the Vikings play the Lions the following week.
And the 49ers always smack us, man. So now you telling me that we guaranteed to get smacked no matter
Not yet.
what.
Cowboys guaranteed to lose in week 7. Vikings guaranteed to lose in week 8 against the Rams.
Damn. I mean, I don't mind us losing, but not against the 49ers, bro. Come on, man. We can't get spanked by them again, brother. Come on now. You ain't making me feel good, man. Good God, bro. Actually, we got a bye week the next week, though. So hopefully that breaks the curse, man. You know what I'm saying? We play the Lions, but we got a bye week. So that might break the curse, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that might work, man.
That might be
the formula, right?
Math is mathing, to be honest with you.
That's it, man. Hey, gotta use your brain, man. You know what I'm saying? I like that one. That was a good pull, man. Yeah, well, man, we always gotta show our community some love, man. The good Patreons, man. The overcooked, community, and we gonna get touching in some of these fantasy scores from the good people that sent their submissions in, and let's see who got smoked, who got cooked, and overcooked, man. So number 1, we gonna bring up my boy DB, man. He in the building. Damn. Just a 200+ win right here, bro. I don't know. I mean, end days, I guess your days are ended, brother. I don't know what's going on. 0-10. I think he's probably trying to lose. I'm hoping.
It's cooked.
Yeah. He got a super cook, bro. So that looked like what? Yeah, 214.
214.
Yeah. That's tough. That's tough right there. DB back again. Dang. Can you help the people out, bro? I mean, this dude root for injuries, man. It looked like his team is injured, man. I don't know, bro. 70-point win. Yeah, so these some wild league names y'all got going on, D-Man. What's up with this though, man? See. Okay, all right. 300-point games. You know we love them points, man. This is like a close one right here, though. Chill Will. 100 points. That ain't bad right there, brother. You number 5, man. Hopefully we can get you number 1 soon, though, man. So good week. Juju, look, that was the last stat that went up, right? That Juju stat, man. So, Voodoo. Voodoo Juju, man. Who we got right here? Rolling with my homes. Let me bring this up a little closer for me. My
Jesus.
eyes bad, man. Oh, hold on. This dude didn't even have a quarterback, bro. Come on now. We can't put this one up, man. How does that even come on, brother? And look at this battery right here. We can't have you on the show with these batteries. No percentage either. You just got a yellow line on there. Come on, man. Give me a battery percentage, brother. But it was a good W. And he put another one up there too, I think. See what we got. This a solid game, man. You nailed it. You know what I'm saying? Bolts and hoes, man. Good luck to you, brother. You ain't looking too good right now, man. I don't know what you got going on, but you gotta get it together, man. I wanted the people but they post these stat lines and these wins are their opponents in our community too, man. Because I really want to get them to get some revenge the following week, man. Bad Moon Rising. This a clean win right here, bro. Big Corey took another L, brother. Yeah, man, it's just a lot of shit leagues going on. Look, why is Juju popping up so much, man? What's up with all these people with Juju on their team, man? What else we got? All right, this is a different look one right here. I don't know what platform is this one right here, Cody. You know,
it's my team, son.
Oh, that's you. Okay,
that's
all
me,
right.
baby.
My bad. What
This
platform is this?
At the beginning,
it's Yahoo.
It's Yahoo.
Okay, yeah.
This is the team I was telling you about at the beginning. I won by almost 100 after putting Mooney and London in my flex on Thursday night.
Okay.
Again, the Cardinal sin. Okay. Don't do it. Don't play your Thursday guys in the flex.
Never.
And I ended up having to add Jay Witt and Juju and put them in bro. Because no Rice and no neighbors. And I still walked the puppy dog.
Well, Juju is getting a lot of love this week, man. Shout out to the boy Juju Voodoo, man. And unfortunately, I'm going to end with my L, man. And I wasn't overcooked. I got simmered cooked, man. It was the pot was hot. It was, I put the top on it. It was sweating inside there, man. And unfortunately, this dude, man,
no,
bro. All I needed was 1 yard or one more catch from Alvin Kamara, man, and they did me dirty. man, bro.
You number one team in the league too.
Bro, listen, this was crazy. And I would have beat every other team with this score, and I lost by point whatever. So I got overcooked. I got smoked, sliced in half, whatever you want to call it, man. It don't look good, man. I ain't feeling that type of L right there, bro. So shout out to the people, man, for putting in them good old scores for us, man. And
I might rather get beat by 214.
Hey, Cody, I'm talking about, bro. I'm sitting here watching this game like, man, look, just give me 1 yard, bro. That's all I need. And I would have beat everybody else. I lost by like 0.70 something, bro. That was crazy, man. That was a tough L I took last night. But I'm number one, man. We're gonna keep shooting for the moon, man. So like I said, man, shout out to the people, man. Sign up, patreon.com/South Harmon FF, I believe. We got $1 tier, $5 tier, $10 tier, man. Great community. We always chopping it up, and it's just something small I wanted to put together for the people. Kind of show off their team during the season, man. So I think next though, Cody, man, I think it's your time, man. I'm gonna give you a little bit of love. I know on the thumbnail I had brought up one guy I wanted to speak on in the college game, man. But you said, hey, you might gotta talk about that dude, man. So if it's only one college guy to talk about, man, I'm gonna let you go ahead and speak on him. No, we talked about him last week. Me and Maddie brought him up, and Genty is him. He's forever gonna be him. And I'm gonna let you go ahead and speak on Genty, man. I'm sorry, Booker, man. I was gonna show you a little bit of love, but Cody said it's Genty time, baby. So
we can talk Booker for a minute. We can talk Booker for a minute as well, but I just had to circle back on Genty because he's now the favorite in the Heisman. Like there was a conversation, like, hey, this guy, he's gonna be in New York, he's gonna be sitting there, and Cam Ward had a little bit of a down spurt in the first half, came back, won that game from Miami against Cal. Travis Hunter was on bye. Milroe took an L to Vandy. The door's opening more, like it's opening. Miami looks like a beatable team. If Miami loses, Cam Ward's stock goes down a little bit more. Travis Hunter's team, Colorado, I love Colorado, but they're not going to win out. Boise State could make a run and get in this playoff pretty easily based on their schedule and how they played so far. They only lost to Oregon by 3, and Genty's been ridiculous. This team is top 5 in scoring offense, in yardage, and he's like, I think he's like north. I don't have the exact number. It's like north of 65% of their total yards, maybe north of 70% of their total yards. His prop number this week, he completely cucked everybody with his prop number this week. I think it ended up being like 192.5 rushing yards. And in the first half, he rushed 13 for 186 and 3 touchdowns, didn't play a snap in the second half. Completely just goes balls to the wall, averages 14 yards per carry, better than he's done all year. 13, 7, 11, 10, 14 yards per carry in this game. Didn't touch the ball in the second half for the second time this year. He hasn't done that in the second half. And they blitzed Utah State, beat him by 30. The way that their schedule goes the rest of the season, unless something dramatic happens, I don't see Boise State slipping up. They have Hawaii, UNLV, who will be a good game, San Diego State, Nevada, San Jose State, Wyoming, Oregon State to end the season. Very favorable schedule throughout the rest of the season. Oregon State will be probably the best defense they play against the rest of the season. But see, even the pup is up. Even the pup is up. Even the pup is up. So the thing is, this kid, when you look at it right now, statistically, when you look at the landscape of the 2025 NFL draft class, you look at this landscape of the 2025 Dynasty rookie drafts, it's not really close as far as who the 101 is right now. And everyone loves Ted McMillan. Everyone loves Luther Burden. Everyone loves Travis Hunter, but Travis Hunter can't be the 101 because obvious reasons he's going to play defense as well. To me, it's pretty clear right now who this guy is. And people could reference the lack of receiving. The problem is last year, the guy had, I think, 46 receptions. And this year, why are you throwing him the football when you don't have to? He's got 6 receptions this year for 19 yards. He doesn't have to catch the football to back when you give it to him, and he rips off 14 a clip. He looks like some concoction of like Saquon and Kamara, and like a little bit of Barry Sanders, and like the Saquon, he doesn't quite have the same legs Saquon does. But he's got the same running style. His contact balance, there's nobody that I've seen at really any position outside of Tyreek Hill and Kamara that have contact balance like this kid. Kamara's contact balance, for those that have seen the clips, like it's otherworldly. And this kid has that. And from an elusivity standpoint, it's like Barry Sanders-esque. And he's a junior. This isn't a flash in the pan. This isn't just like a one-time thing. His freshman year at Boise State, he rushed for 800 yards. Last year, he rushed for 1,300. And this year, he's got 95 carries and 1,000 yards.
Week 5, right?
So if we're talking about extrapolation and projection, this guy's staring in the eyes. I mean, I could probably plug into ChatGPT right now and see exactly what his projection is, to be honest with you. 95 carries. So is it 95 carries, 1,031 yards and 16 touchdowns, 1,031 yards and 16 touchdowns in 5 games. How many will I have in 12 games? Right? So let's see. This thing's going to spit this out at me. There you go. So the final stats for the year, if he keeps up the current pace, 228 carries, 2,474 yards, and count this one. Ready? 38 touchdowns.
I'll just say 30-some touchdowns, bro. I can believe it. I mean, he putting up 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean,
there's nothing to really compare it to. Like, you can compare it to Barry Sanders, and people are like, well, you can't do that. You can't compare him to Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders had 26-28. Melvin Gordon's year, he had 25-87. And again, we're projecting for 24-74, and he played 2 games where he didn't touch the ball in the second half. I'm assuming when they get down to the end, game 9, game 10, game 11, game 12, they're going to start going, hey, look at that number. See that number up there? Get this guy the ball 6 more times, he's going to break that number.
Yep.
And I just wanted to give him his flowers. I mean, the guy is literally the favorite in the clubhouse after week 6. And, it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't.
And like you said, bro, they sat him in the second half because I had him on my team and I kept looking like, bro, what the hell? Why he only got 183 yards? Where he at? But he sat him, man. You know,
And I
shout out.
don't think this is like the non-Power 5 teams, guys that have done this in non-Power 5 schools. The last guy was Rashad Penny, right? Rashad Penny was a Seahawk. San Diego State. He had 2,248. Did not look the same. Donald Pumphrey in 2016 for San Diego State did not look the same. Kevin Smith for UCF. I don't remember it looking the same. That was 2007. That was a little bit before I covered football from this stance, but it did not look the same as to what this looks like. This is, I remember what Melvin Gordon looked like at Wisconsin. I've watched the clips of Oklahoma State, Barry Sanders. Like this is, I of course lived through Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor's 2,000-yard seasons. Those even weren't as dominant. Those were just like pounding great seasons. This is like electric.
Yeah, look fun. It's fun to watch. Yeah,
you can't look the opposite direction
at all. And we know the ball going to, man. The defense, man, got to be like, damn, bro, what can we do to stop this man? I won't know if I was on the other side of the field, bro. I really would be like, bro, what is going on here, man? Like he need to be tested because there's no way this man doing this every single week when he get on the field, bro.
Reminder also, I just realized this. I was trying to find the touchdown number. Barry Sanders, of course, has the rushing yard number, and it's 200 yards north of what Genty's was projected right now. But the rushing touchdown number for Sanders was 37. And the 12-game projection for Genty is 38, which is, of course, 4 more than Monty Ball, who had 33. Devin Singletary's 32. So we're literally looking at potentially the greatest running back season of all time on less than 300, guaranteed to be less than 300 carries because there's no way he's going to get there now.
Yeah.
And I think he's pretty clearly the 101 at this point in fantasy leagues because there's kind of a gap, which is weird because, Quinshon Judkins, Hampton from North Carolina, Travion Henderson, all these guys that we expected to be in this conversation really haven't had nowhere near the season that Genty has. So
no, not at all.
When the draft circle comes back around, I think Genty probably ends up being a late first round pick, if not earlier.
Yeah. He's definitely on that Bijan Robinson Gibbs hype train when it comes to that draft, the real draft. And for ours, it got to be one of it's gonna be crazy, right? When we had those rookie drafts next year and we looking at taking another running back, but you ain't gonna shake your head at it, man. I don't care what team he goes to. You're gonna trust the player, man. So yeah, man, shout out to Ashton, man. I want to show him some love too. Once you said, I said, hey, bro, I brought him up last week, but hey, if he keep doing what he doing, man, keep bringing him up. So yeah, shout out to him, man. And I wanted to get through just a couple of rapid fire pretenders and contenders, man. We're gonna do a little bit of fantasy and real football. So I'm looking at the division leaders right now, and just gonna let me know, man. Are they contenders or are they pretenders in their division? So Buffalo, they 3-2, leading the AFC East. In that division, they contenders or pretenders, bro? How you feeling?
100% contenders in that division because New England's not good. New England needs to flip this thing to Drake May like ASAP Louis as fast as possible. They go to London or Germany in 2 weeks. So after Houston this week, they go to Germany. That team's toasty. They need to bring Drake in to even have a chance of doing anything. Miami looks like they're still 3 weeks away from Tua. That team could be sitting at 2-5, 3-6, 3-5, something like this when he comes back. And that team, I mean, they got more than just a quarterback problem. The Jets just fired their coach. We'll see what Rodgers can do for you, but right now it doesn't look great. And right now, as long as this Josh Allen, I'll tell you what, this kind of hinges on this. As long as Josh Allen's head is okay, because I've seen these videos of him potentially being concussed now back-to-back games and not being like really classified as concussion type of situation. Yeah. Some scary shit. Like
he's been skating his way out of that. Like I don't know how he keep doing it.
Yeah, I don't quite get that. So as long as he's straight, I think they're 100% contenders. If he's not, this whole division sucks. But I do think Buffalo is contenders to make it back to the AFC Championship conversation. I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders, but I think they can at least claw their way through this AFC potentially.
Yeah, and it's so crazy, bro, because I'm looking at the AFC, man, and I say this all the time. The AFC is almost like we know who the contenders are in each division. The Chiefs, we don't even have to go to this division, right? The Chiefs, we know who they're the contender in their division. The North is always the one where it's like maybe the Browns could be good. The Bengals are good. The Steelers isn't always going to be at 500 at least. The Ravens are kind of up and down at the end with, if Lamar plays or if he's hurt. That's really the only division in the AFC, bro, that I could say is you don't have one contender like guaranteed to win this division.
Yeah.
I always look at the AFC North as like the NFC East. Like it's going to be a different person possibly every year. And AFC South, the Texans, I don't think the Colts or the Titans or the Jags are going to compete with them at this point. So, I mean, I'm not to skip through the whole AFC, but I mean, AFC West, we good with the Chiefs, right?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think Denver's gonna do a little something here
Yeah, they look solid, man.
to do anything.
For sure. AFC North, who's your? I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the Ravens at this point, but this are they the contender of this one, or you think the Bengals got a chance to maybe salvage whatever they can,
Bengals don't have the defense. Bengals are one of if you could combine Cleveland and Cincinnati, if you could give me Cleveland's defense and Cincinnati's offense,
that'd be
the fucking
crazy.
team would be undefeated right now. But you can't do that, unfortunately. So
do you think they're gonna cheat and get another high pick with an already high powered team, and then because they got Joe Burrow and then they cheated and got chased the next year because they had a bad season? So are they gonna cheat their way into a high pick and salvage some more?
I'll be interested to see, but they don't really have an excuse, right? They had the excuse with Burrow. I'll be interested if Zach Taylor keeps his job.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They end up with like a 4-win team, 5-win team. I'm not sure I don't know how they could possibly be that bad, but maybe they win 6 or 7. I'll be interested to see if Zach Taylor keeps that job. I do think Baltimore's the real contender here out of this division. I think Pittsburgh, this might sound nuts. I think if Pittsburgh makes that flip to Russ sooner than later, I think Pittsburgh can contend. Okay. But I don't think they're contenders with Justin.
I don't think they contenders with Arthur Smith. I just think he's going to hold them back always with how they play. I looked at the game Sunday, bro. They had Justin. Now, granted, it was an ugly game, but they had Justin Fields literally just playing running back. This man was hiking the ball and just running around. Like he wasn't. It's like they didn't want him to throw. They saying George Pickens is only playing like 57% snaps. They want to hold him for later. Like, what are we doing, man? Why is Van Jefferson out here getting the ball so much, bro? Like Arthur Smith, man, he just both the two tight ends caught touchdowns. I mean, it's Arthur Smith.
Najee Harris, the leading receiver.
Yeah, bro, Najee Harris had like 30-something yards rushing. Like and Dallas has one of the worst running defense in the league, if not the worst. So I think Arthur Smith was holding them back, man. But I'm also a Justin Fields guy, so. AFC is pretty much sold up though, bro. I think AFC South Texans. How you feel about the coach? You think Texans got that one right?
I think if Flacco would have started week 1, this team would be in a much different spot.
For sure.
I think Houston's the only team in this conference or in this division to take serious.
All right, cool. So NFC side, Commanders 4-1, man. Look like they leading the charge right now in the NFC East. This is now I'm looking, man. NFC is just always so technical. I can't even give you a guaranteed contender in each one of these divisions. Like anybody can win these, but let's just start with the East and the Commanders 4-1. Who you think is I ain't even gonna go pretender. Who's the contender in this to win this division right now?
Washington has to be a contender. They got the quarterback. You could
Definitely
make an argument that they have the best quarterback in the division right now. And I think that'd be a real argument to have. People would say, "No, you're crazy. Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott." Like I get it. But as far as pound for pound, throw for throw, I don't know how any of these other 3 franchises don't take Jaden Daniels over what they got. So
for sure, I like the coaching, man. I think the coaching is what's really got him where he need to be.
100%, 100%,
yeah,
100%.
That boy Cliff, man. I wanted him in Atlanta, man. So I think Cliff and his quarterback are right here, right now. They probably, sitting beside each other in the room, looking at the iPads, going over plays, getting there before the practice start, after practice start. So I think that's what's really got Jaden to where he is right now. And then that's the reason why they the most dangerous is the coach and quarterback connection. Look like, they don't need a star number 2 receiver and a star running back and star tight end. They just gonna draw up the plays and make them work. So they definitely a contender, but I think it's multiple contenders in this division, honestly.
Same. The one thing I'm most impressed with Washington, and I think is the scariest part, and I know you're a Cowboy fan and the Eagles think the Eagles shit don't stink. And I think the scariest thing for the NFC East right now is the fact that Washington was able to, in year one of the new regime, without knowing exactly what Jaden Daniels was, they were able to go out and get aging veterans at that, but aging veterans like Bobby Wagner and Austin Eckler, Frankie Louvu, and get these guys to come in and believe in their process and believe in this team. Because guys like Bobby Wagner and Austin Eckler aren't just going to go somewhere and be like, yeah, man, I'm going to mail it in. Like, they want to go there and win. And in year one, without knowing exactly what Jaden was, they convinced those guys to come there. True veteran locker room guys, they convinced them to go there and be leaders. I'll be interested to see what, like, I know we're talking about contenders this year, but I'll be interested to see in the offseason what it looks like for Washington in the free agency realm of things, to see how they can kind of build on this. But I think Washington's a real contender to win this division. Dallas, and of course Philadelphia. The Giants stink. I mean, of all fluke wins, that was a fluke win.
Man,
what are we doing here? There's no neighbors, and there's
man.
Tracy looks fantastic. Got to give Tracy his flowers. We knew he was
sure.
good, but he looked fantastic. But this team in totality, it's a defensive centric team with a very underwhelming offensive talent. So Washington, Dallas, and Philly, I think, are all contenders in this division to win the division, and also I think they all can win a playoff game too.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's really what's holding this division back is playoff success, really. Outside of that, I mean, Philly has done it, 2 years and got to the Super Bowl 1 year and won it, and just recently went a couple years ago and lost to the Chiefs. So outside of playoff success, man, it's always the most competitive division, and nobody wins it every year back to back. It's always a new face at the top of that list. So with the schedule the Commanders have, I believe it's most scary because of the schedule alone. Like, I don't think Jaden has really been tested yet. And I think Baltimore, if Jaden go out there and one, beat Baltimore, but two, look like the QB2 in this game where he's right behind Lamar by this much, then we can really say that they are one of the toughest teams in this whole NFC side, period. NFC West, man, another one. We can kind of run through it, but 49ers, man.
None of them.
None of them is contenders, bro.
None of them are contenders to do anything.
Damn. Okay. Hey, I'm gonna leave it there,
That's
man.
not crazy. I mean,
it
comes down to your quarterback play, and Purdy looks broken right now.
He does, man.
We just talked about this. If they slip up to Seattle this week, they got Casey, they got Dallas. The schedule does not open up down the stretch
at all.
Every year we see the parity of the NFL come to fruition, being a multitude of teams that make the playoffs do not make it the next year, and teams that don't make it the next year. And San Fran may just be one of those teams that doesn't make it in 2024.
That's the NFC for you. That's the NFC for you, bro.
That's football.
Yeah. So look, NFC North, man. NFC North, man. We're gonna get to your boys, man. I believe that this might be the contender division. Like, every team in this division is a contender to me. Still think the Packers will be over the Bears eventually, but all four, if they could have 4 teams in the playoffs, and what I think they can record wise, but yeah, man, I think every one of these teams is a contender, bro. I couldn't tell you. I think the Vikings will win it, me personally, but if they didn't and the Lions skated by or the Packers skated up, I think all 4 of these teams, man, can win a Super Bowl this year, bro. Honestly.
Well, first they can, because there's three wild card spots, and right now Tampa and Green Bay are tied 3-2 with Dallas. And at the end of the year, if tiebreakers come to fruition, they can potentially have all 4 teams in the playoffs. As far as Super Bowl contention, because of Minnesota's defense, I will say yes, that they're contenders. Detroit, we've already seen that team push to the limits of where they can do. They can get there 100%. Green Bay, I think, has the best roster in football. Chicago, I'm not ready to say that. Chicago has the quarterback. I think they have the offensive weaponry, but I do think they're in for a little bit of an awakening this winter when the kind of
in the trenches, right?
When the landscape changes in Chicago and you got these home games and your team's not built for it. I'll be interested to see how they react. I'm not sure they'll be able to withstand the long haul of the season. Look at these other teams that are going to be in contention in that conversation, right? It's going to be Detroit. It's going to be Tampa, who's going to be playing in Tampa. Dallas. It's going to be Green Bay. It's going to be Philadelphia. Arizona to a certain extent. Like, San Francisco is going to be competing for that wild card. I don't know if they'll make it, but they're going to be competing for it. So
yeah,
they're able to withstand these other teams, and I'm just not sure they have quite the gas to do that.
Nah, for sure. And when I say Super Bowl, I definitely didn't mean the Super Bowl for the Bears. But for playoffs, I believe all 4 of these teams could compete or kind of hit that line where the last wild card spot is like, oh man, we need this team to win, this team to lose to be out. So NFC South, man. After this, we can run through a couple of fantasy contenders and pretenders, and we're gonna let the people lead the kitchen, bro. So NFC South, look like the Saints are back to reality, I believe. I hate the Cowboys caught them at the worst time because they should be playing them and should have won that game. But Bucks and the Falcons, bro. Who you really think is the contender out of both of those? Are both of those teams contenders?
I will never believe, this is going to be a little biased here, I will never believe that Kirk Cousins is a real contender.
Especially in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's the king of these games that we just saw on Thursday Night Football. He's the king of looking great in these opportunities, but when the going gets tough, and this is, I mean, I sound stupid again. I know I have Viking bias within me, but Darnold is playing better than Kirk Cousins ever did as a Viking. And Darnold has mobility. Kirk has no mobility, never did before the Achilles. He collapses in situations that are important and big. And yes, he did have a nice win against New Orleans in New Orleans a couple of years ago in the playoffs, and Kyle Rudolph caught a nice touch in the back of the end zone. Things like that happen. But as far as pushing it to the finish line, Kirk can't do that, period. And this team is not built on defense to withstand that. Tampa is. Tampa, they get a healthy Vita Vea as the season goes long. Tampa's built in the trenches on defense and offense. I think Tampa's the only real contender in this NFC South. Atlanta could push for a potential wild card berth, but I think Tampa's going to end up being the ones that continue to walk with this division.
Yeah, I'm with you. I believe Tampa's going to win it, and I don't know, man. I know we just saw 500 yards from Kirk this week, but I know that's not the way they want to play, and I don't even see Kirk getting 500 yards again this season. I mean, I'm not saying that's easy to do every week, but I believe in Tampa and the defense and just the vibe I got with those guys over there. So,
are you worried about Bijan?
Yes and no. I believe Bijan's thing is a coaching thing. I don't think it has nothing to do with him not being a good running back anymore. I just think the coaching. But I think at some point they're going to be in games where they want to run the ball, because that 500-yard game, bro, is not in their formula. That's not what they want to do. Even though they have the skill players to do it, that's not what they want to do. So I'm worried in the standpoint of he hasn't shown us what he really is yet, but I'm not worried long term that he won't pick his value back up and do what he normally does. So
that's fair.
But yeah, man, we can run through a couple of contenders and pretenders in this game we call fantasy, man. And some names on here, we got these scoring that just went crazy, and some guys that was, maybe just in the dumps right now that we're not sure if they really are who they are. So I guess for a contender, I'm gonna ask you, give me your quarterback contender, man, and that pretender that you like, he's up here, but by week 10, you know what I'm saying, you might not need him. So on the quarterback side, what you think?
From the quarterback pile, a pretender, I know we just talked about him, but I think because of the landscape of where his team is at, I'm stuck between Caleb and Kirk. Kirk, you just brought it up. We're not going to see another 500-yard game. He's got 5 picks already this year, which is second in the NFL behind Levis, Mahomes, and Richardson. I'm not sold on Kirk. I'm also not entirely sold on Caleb this year. Like I just said, I think this team is good. I think this team is put together well. He just had his best game of the season. And I think he's going to be fine for a few weeks, but I'm not sure he's going to be as the season wanes. So you look at the schedule for the Bears. Again, this week they're overseas. They have a bye. And then it's at Washington, at Arizona, New England, Green Bay, Minnesota, all at home in November. All going to be cold games. New England, Green Bay, Minnesota, all have what? Good defenses. At Detroit, good defense. San Francisco, at Minnesota, and then Christmas. So that'll be fantasy championship week. Will be at home against Detroit. Like, the schedule isn't exactly easy, and they're going to be in these tough spots and tough situations and tough games against tough defenses. I'm not sold on Caleb Williams. I think he's a pretender for fantasy as the season wanes. And Kirk, I think I would prefer Caleb over Kirk, but I think they're both pretenders at this point.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I know I sound crazy, bro, and I said this a while ago, but it's starting to shape down a little bit. And I think my pretender is Josh Allen, man. And I'm gonna say Josh Allen for one reason. Earlier, you talked about the concussion thing, right? It looked like he might have had one. He got away with it. I think twice that happened this year, right? If you look at that game last week, I really thought, this was gonna be a high point shootout game, and it wasn't. Now, the first couple weeks, was eating crow and was like, man, because I said Josh Allen wouldn't finish as a top 8 QB, and that was my bold take. I wasn't like saying that it was really gonna happen, but he's number 6 right now in most lines, and I'm just looking at his receiving core, right? He doesn't have a number 1 truly. I know Shakira was hurt this week too. But I think they're more of a running team, man. I think they want to be a little more balanced, and James Cook has really stepped up to running the ball. And not saying Josh can't run the ball because he will. I'm just not sure if you look at that Baltimore game and that Texans game, man. When they play good teams, it seemed like I don't know, man. They haven't been keeping up as much as they should be. So if I had to give a pretender to finish top 8, like I said, I think a guy like C.J. Stroud is playing pretty low right now. He can step up in front of Josh, and Pat Mahomes is like QB 15, and I don't see why he can't move up at some point. So I know he's not the greatest rushing quarterback and this and that, but for Josh to be QB 6 right now, Dak, a couple guys I think can step over him, man, in the ranking. So my pretender going to be Josh Allen, man, at the QB side, and it's not because he's not good. I just think, man, later on down the line, when they in them tough games, he's going to try to figure out who to go to. I don't know he has a go-to right now. So, unfortunately, man, I might sound like a Josh hater all the time, but he's my pretender though, bro.
He's going to fall off eventually. And Keon Coleman looks good, and the whole team looks fine. it's going to be tough sledding. And I'm like I said before, I'm a little worried about the concussions. Are we doing contenders, or are we just doing pretenders?
Nah, I mean, because I ain't want to prolong it too long. But if you just want to rapid fire your contender, I know the quarterback position, bro. We kind of know like who's those guys. So if you want to shout out a name, ain't no
Baker.
thing. You could.
Baker.
Oh, okay, I like that one.
Baker.
And look, Baker was on my mind, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. But
they just took the L to Atlanta, but the season, as far as fantasy goes, like I know these next 5 weeks look daunting. New Orleans, Baltimore, back to Atlanta, Kansas City, San Fran. They get a bye, and then the season is, I don't want to say smooth sailing, but it's easier throughout the rest of the year until that Dallas matchup in Week 16 for the fantasy championship. But when you look at what Baker's done to this point this year, 72% completion percentage, the best in his career by 8% better than last year. 9% better than his best year in Cleveland. Touchdown interception ratio, 7.2% of his throws are touchdowns, 2% better than that 2020 year when he was in Cleveland. 1.3% of his passes are picks. That's a half percentage point better than that 2020 season in Cleveland. He's playing better than he's played in his entire career. His QBR is equal to the 2020 season. He's getting the ball out, 11 touchdowns, 2 picks. Like I said, he's on pace for a 4,000-yard season again, on pace for 33 touchdown passes. Like, Baker's giving you plenty. He's in his peak. He's 29 years old. He's earning that contract. He's earning a prolonged career in Tampa, and they got him on a 2-year deal right now, right? So 2-year deal. I mean, he's trying to get that thing extended, and I think another year double down would do that.
Well, honestly, that goes to the contract thing with me and Sam Darnold, man. He's a real contender, man. I know he ain't the mobile guy that everybody loved, this Konami co-quarterback, but if you look at his offense, you got Justin Jefferson as your receiver, bro. Jordan Addison getting touchdowns. TJ Hawkinson is coming back soon. He got the offense, man. If Kirk Cousins can, lead the league and all these touchdowns and passing yards every year and be real competitive, I don't see why Sam Darnold can't do it. And his defense is giving them the ball back to get interception, sacks, fumbles. So I don't think this Minnesota team is one of those teams that, our defense is playing so good, let's take the foot off the gas. They're going to run up 40 points if they can. So I'm going to say Sam Darnold is a real contender, man, especially knowing that JJ is behind him on the team and he need a contract. So my contender, man, for 2024 definitely got to be Sam Darnold to keep doing what he's doing. I know that's your guy, that's your team. So, I'll show you a little bit of love on that one. But let's just go flex spot. You could be running back, tight end, receiver. Don't matter. Just give me one of your pretenders and contenders, and let's let the good people, man, finish starting their day off.
Pretender, Chuba Hubbard. This Jonathan Brooks thing is going to come back. He's not going to do a lot this year, but he's going to be a nuisance in this backfield because Sanders and Jonathan Brooks are going to get work. Brooks is not going to take over for Chuba, but he's going to get enough work that this team isn't competent enough to continue this 6 yards per carry pace for Chuba Hubbard and actually make him worth it on a weekly basis. I think rest of season. So that's my pretender. My contender is Darnell Mooney. We talked about at the beginning of the show.
Okay,
I don't see how he doesn't continue to do this. You could bring up guys like Alec Pierce, Rashid Shaheed, some of these other receivers as pretenders as well. But I'm going to go to the receiver position and go contender with Darnell Mooney, a guy that I think the targets can continually be there. This has nothing to do with Kirk Cousins being a pretender, but I think these things can coexist. And Darnell Mooney can continue to get the ball going his way.
All right, man. Look, I like that one. And honestly, my pretender is a guy we kind of hated over the summer. And I sound crazy saying this right now. So, hey, you want to log out on me, I'm sorry. But I think my pretender is Kyren Williams, bro. I think the reason why Kyren Williams is really doing what he's doing is because Cooper Kupp and Puka aren't in the offense. I think once they come back and they get healthy, you're going to start seeing a lot more air-rated offense. And I'm not saying Kyren isn't getting a goal line touchdown because he clearly is doing that now, which he was doing last year. But Kyren, to me, still isn't the guy that I was he hasn't changed my mind as, oh my God, I need to have this guy on my team. Even though, like I say, he's putting up the points. I could be blind, I could be tripping. But I believe they're forcing the ball to him because of the lack of receiving depth that they have and trustability of Kupp and Puka not being around. So I think once they really get their two guys back, that ball gonna start going to his receivers a little bit more than Kyren. But he's doing a good job. Not knocking Kyren, but I just know over the summer we was high on setting them, and if I got him, I'm setting them right now, personally, because I think once that offense get to clicking on the receiver side, is going back to that. So, my contender, I will say though, is one of your guys, man. And I'm gonna say Jaden Reed, man. I really stepped on Jaden Reed a lot, and I watched that play last week or this week, yesterday, whatever. When Jordan Love threw that ball in the air and he caught it like this on the 1 yard line, 2 yard line, he had two defenders on his back. And I know Romeo Dobbs wasn't playing. Tucker Kraft went off, but when you talk about Jordan Love and the Packers offense as a whole being one of the best in the league, man, Jaden Reed, bro, is literally the Deebo Samuel, Stephon Diggs, any way you want me to line up, I can do it and still be productive on this field. So I think Jaden Reed is really a contender, bro, and he's definitely going to finish the top 10 receiver in fantasy this year, hands down, no question about it.
Dude's fifth in the NFL in receiving yards through 5 weeks. Pretty ridiculous. One thing I did want to bring up with Kyren is I kind of have the same sentiment. I think he's doing enough because he's got the top snap share, top rush share, and the top fourth down 2 minute. I think he's 100% snap share into 2 minutes in each half. It's just been forced utilization. But when you look at the top 25 ball carriers in rushing yards this year, three guys are sub 3.8 yards per carry. Kyren is 3.8, and the only two guys that are worse, Najee and DeAndre Swift, 3.3 and 3.2. And we both know those guys are inefficient as all hell. And everybody knows that. Everyone's talking about how bad of a rusher Swift is and how incompetent Najee is, but nobody's saying anything about Kyren Williams, and he's averaging 3.8 right now, which is third worst among the top 25. Everybody else in the top 25, 6.0, 6.0, 4.5, 4.6, 6.8, 3, 4.6, 4.9. Everyone's averaging north of 4.5 yards per carry, except for Najee, Kyren, and DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, and like I said, he's getting that touchdown, durability, like every time they're on the goal line, touchdown. And I'm not saying they won't continue to feed him, but I think the offense is going to open up once they get the two guys, man, who literally was running out of the locker room and out the gym, man, when they was on the field. So we know what Kupp can do. We know what Puka can do. Once they back, man, this offense really going to start clicking and, opening up the sky. So I guess, man, look, before we get up out of here, Cody, man, you got anything you want to talk to the people about, man? What we got cooking, what you got cooking, how you feeling, man? Well, look, we appreciate y'all being here. We love when y'all here, man, up in the kitchen with us. And another Tuesday morning, week 5. Everything was everything, man. So how you feeling before we get up out of here, Cody?
This is the week, man. This is the week that the season is now going to be over with. So continue to cook up, continue to stay tuned in, stay tapped in. We get a big week of football. Niners, Seahawks on Thursday night. I mean, I'm not going to plug all my stuff, but you can just follow me, find me wherever you want to find me, follow me, watch me. You can do the same thing for Fizz everywhere at Fizz at Dolla. He's a dog. He's a savage. He's my boy. And this show, I mean, I love tapping in. I love kind of putting a bow on the previous weekend. So continue to come in here on Tuesday mornings, put a bow on the week as we build and continue through this fantastic season that is the NFL.
That's it, baby. Hey, look, man, and like I always say, man, we ain't just talking to be talking, man. All this is free game right here. You know, all you can do is tap in and learn a little bit about some players that you might not have watched or paid attention to. So make some trades, you know, pay attention online, check out these players on the red zone, whatever the case, man. But always taking a little bit of the game that we're trying to get y'all, man. So I appreciate y'all being here, me and my boy Cody every Tuesday. And I guess we see y'all next Tuesday, man, on the cook up. We out of this thing. Give me one of them things before we get up out of here, Cody. You know how we get down, baby. You know how we do, baby. The cook up next week. Be here, 10 a.m. We out.